Hello there, kids. This is Teacher Mark. Today, we are going to learn about the place value using the golden beads. To start with, the one to your right, we call it the ones place or simply the unit place. Next to the ones place is called the tens place. And next to the tens place is called the hundreds place. And next to the hundreds place is called the thousands place. For now, we are only going to learn the first four place value. Why is this called the ones place? Because this is the place where a group of ones or single units are placed. Why is this called the tens place? This is called the tens place because this group is composed of 10 units of ones. For you to further understand, allow me to group 10 units of ones. There is a rule that every place value can only hold up to 9 units. And once it reaches 10 or more units, a group of 10 units should be exchanged and transferred to the next higher place value. In this situation, I have arranged 10 units of ones. Since we now have 10 units of ones, this should now be replaced as 1 unit of tens. Using the same logic earlier, allow me to align 10 units of tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We now have 10 units of tens. And 10 units of tens is equal to 100. Following the rule, since we now have 10 units of tens, we should now exchange and transfer it to the next higher place value. Now, why do you think is this area called thousands place? Knowing that this area is called the hundreds place. Just to recap everything, we started at the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, and now we have the thousands place. Now, how do we end up having 1,000 units? Let's try to pile up some 100 units. We have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and let's use this one example, making a total of 1000. 10 units of hundreds make 1 unit of thousand. Now that you have learned about place value, let's try to learn how to read a number using the place value. In the ones place, we have 3 units of ones. So that is 1, 2, 3. That makes 3 alone. For the tens place, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 units of tens. 5 units of tens is read as 50. And for the hundreds place, we have 1 unit of hundreds, which is read as 100. So reading this number will be 150 153. Can you say it again? 153. Okay, let's try another one. In this case, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4 units of ones. For tens place, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units of tens. And 9 units of tens is read as 90. And for hundreds, we have 1, 2, 3 units of hundreds. So let's try to read it. That's 394. Can you say it again? 394. Hello there, kids. I have prepared some examples for you to see if you're able to understand our lesson. So here, you can see this is quite the same as the video that you have watched earlier. It's just that these are no longer beads. We are now going to make use of cubes as our example. So in this case, if you can observe, we have the unit of ones. We also have the unit of tens. And we also have the unit of hundreds. To answer this, all you have to do is to count the total number of units present in each place value. So for example, for the ones place, always take note that you should always start counting at the ones place. How many units do you see in the ones place? We have 1, 2, 3. That means we have 3 units of ones. How about for the tens place? How many units do you see? We have 1 unit of tens and another unit of tens, which is equivalent to 2 units of tens. Now, how about for hundreds? How many units of hundreds do you see? We only have 1, which means we have 1 unit of tens, which is in this case, we are going to read this as 123. Okay, since this is tens, so this is actually equivalent to 20. And since this is in 100, this one is equivalent to 100. And if you're going to add all 3, that will give you 123. Okay, let's try the next number. Let's try to do this another example. As you can see, in the ones place, we only have 1 unit. And for the tens place, we only have 1, 2, 3 units. And for the hundreds place, we have 1, 2 units. So we have 2 units of hundreds. And together, you have 231. Let's try another one. Okay, so this is another example. What do you notice with this given example right now? If you can see, we don't have any units for tens, but it's okay. Like what I've told you earlier, we should always start at ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. Now, for tens, as what I've pointed out earlier, we don't have anything in the tens place, which means our unit for tens place is 0. Now, how about for hundreds place? We have 1, 2, 3. That's a total of 3 units for hundreds place. So, which means we can now read this number as 306. Let's try another one. Okay, for this example, what do you notice now? Do you see any hundreds units? There is none. Okay, let's try to count again. We should always start at ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's a total of 5. How about for tens? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of tens. So that's equivalent to 6. Since we don't have any units for 100, so that's just an equivalent to 0. But in this case, you don't have to put a 0 there unless there is a number to be placed here. So which means we only have a total of 65. Let's try another one. Now in this case, what is missing? Do you see any ones units? As you can see that there is none. So that's equivalent to 0. Do you see any tens units? As you can see that there is also none. So in this case, that's also equivalent to 0. How many hundreds units do you see? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a total of 4 units of hundreds, which means we can now count this number as 400.